All right, good morning and welcome to Coffee with Markus and Mark. And in this show, we are going to talk to you about what's happening in the markets and how we are trading it. Today is Wednesday, October 19th. And yesterday, the Nasdaq had an impressive 3% rally. And right now, investors are focused on earnings. Yesterday, after the bell, Netflix and United Airlines reported earnings. So, how are the markets reacting to these earnings? So, we will talk to you about what to expect and we show you how we are trading these crazy markets. By the way, if this is your first time here, hi, I'm Markus Heitkoetter. This is my head coach, Mark Hodge, and well, we're real traders who trade our live accounts right here so that you know what's going on. And we have a lot of trading experience, and we're showing you how we trade these crazy markets. So trust me, we know our stuff, and we're not afraid to tell you like it is. So if you're looking for some honest insights into the fascinating world of trading, you are in the right place. No. Fascinating world of trading. Well, interesting world of trading, let's say, because the markets are definitely interesting, right? I mean, we just the markets are all over the place. It started last Thursday, basically.
Yeah, I mean, just up, down, up, up, but pulling back from the open yesterday, just a solid gap higher, and then that attempted gap fill. So definitely reducing those gains yesterday. But Marcus, I have a question.
Yes,
Yesterday, was your prediction right, or was my prediction right, or were we both right?
I think we were both right because my prediction was that we definitely had positive, and I can
Yeah.
remember what prediction you had.
Well, I said that we were going to be about 50% between the open and Monday's close.
And I guess you were right.
It was close. I think we were both right. That's why we didn't take a bet against each other.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
both essentially came to the same conclusion. But, interesting day to day, just kind of all over the place.
Yeah, because if you look at the economic calendar, there's nothing going on the economic calendar right now. We have the federal the Fed's beige book coming out later today. That's basically their outlook on the economy. So, but it's here typically low impact on the markets because the bigger one are the Fed meeting minutes, and then of course the Fed meetings where they talk about what they're going to do with interest rates. But this could be interesting. So, I mean, in terms of economic reports, not much on the calendar. The big one right now, the focus is definitely on earnings.
Absolutely. And, it was interesting to see because we actually saw a rally after the bell yesterday. So futures markets are open and things were drifting higher. This seemed to be driven by Netflix, Marcus. And so you had we could talk about that, but a nice spike. And then we pulled back during the European session, drifted towards session lows and came off session lows at once the markets opened up, but mixed at this point or slightly lower.
Yeah. So yesterday, the big one was definitely Netflix. So not okay. NFLX. That is the symbol. So, I mean, everybody wanted to know what's happening with Netflix because Netflix got hammered over the past few earnings because they said, well, our subscriber growth is going down. And then yesterday, the good news that came out.
Yeah, they've finally added more subscribers. So they added 2.41 million subscribers in the third quarter, expanding in every category, and they much better than what was expected.
Yeah, and they also yesterday said, you know what? Forget all this stuff about subscriber growth. That has been our model thus far. But now we have a new key metric, and the new key metric will be revenue and ultimately profits. And this is where they also said that they will begin to crack down on password sharing next year. So, what this means is that probably the subscriber growth might not go. And I saw that they offer an option that you can add some money to your subscription so that you can add family members. I think that's pretty smart.
Yeah, and honestly, it's something they should have done a long time ago. We've all benefited from them not doing it, and I think that was strategic to try and just get people used to Netflix. And now that it's a household name, it's better if they can limit the access to one account since it's so cheap.
Yeah. And I mean, Netflix today up, up and away. I mean, gapped higher and right now just running away, up 15%. And since when we look at the overall market, where the S&P right now is down, diddling along 0.5%, the Nasdaq is down 0.5%. I mean, that's a huge move for Netflix here.
Yeah, absolutely. And they said they expect to add 4.5 million subscribers in the fourth quarter, which would be double essentially what they added this last quarter. And the co CEO, Reed Hastings, said that he believes that the worst is over.
Well, we shall see. Talking about the worst is over, United Airlines also reported earnings after the bell yesterday. And I mean, they did pretty good.
Yeah, not too shabby. They beat on earnings uh, and also revenue with an upbeat guidance. So not too bad. They said that their total revenue per available seat mile was up 25.5%, which is comparable to the same period in 2019. So getting back to 2019 levels, pre-pandemic levels, is a big win for the airlines.
Well, and again, airlines, as crude oil prices were moving higher in the beginning of the year, right after the war started in Ukraine, this is when airlines raised their ticket prices. And even though oil prices have come significantly down, ticket prices are not. They are still very, very high. And this is where we had, a couple of days ago, Delta reported earnings. They already said, well, it's going better than we expected. United and then American Airlines, I believe, is reporting earnings. When is it? Today after the bell? On the 20th. Tomorrow. So tomorrow after the bell. So, I mean, earnings good, and yet the markets are just diddling along. So, what's happening? Why are the markets not happier based on these earnings?
Yeah, I think it's more of a pause than anything. Just the initial reaction to last week's CPI data going into earnings. I mean, we're up off of the lows, especially if you look at where we opened up on Thursday morning. So I think it's just a little bit of a pause, awaiting more earnings as we get a little deeper into earnings season with some big companies reporting.
Yeah, so the big one today will be Tesla and IBM, both reporting after the earnings, and they're heavyweights. IBM is a heavyweight in the Dow. Tesla is a heavyweight in the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. And what traders are looking for is some guidance. Okay, how many shares does Elon Musk have to sell to go through with the Twitter deal? Because the deadline is coming up at the end of the month. I believe it is October 28th.
Yeah, Tesla flat today. Looks like traders are just sitting tight, waiting for earnings, trading near some support levels. So we'll have to see how Tesla reacts. That's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah. Well, and then also today, an important anniversary. Did you know? Do you know what anniversary is today?
No.
It is Black Monday, October 19th, 1987. This is when, in a single day, the Dow dropped 22.6%. I mean, this was the so called Black Monday, and the anniversary is today.
Well, look at that.
Yeah. But it's really interesting because actually we are worse off this year than we were because after this massive drop, the S&P was only down 8% for the year. And right now the S&P is down, what, 22% for the year. So it's kind of a worse year than the year where the Dow dropped 22% on a single day.
That's interesting. That's a definitely an interesting perspective to see where we're at. Hey, Marcus, I read something that was interesting though. Bank of America's fund manager survey found that investors have the largest pile of cash since April 2001.
Yeah.
So this survey measures cash as a percentage of their portfolios, and it's at 6.1%, which is a 21-year high. I guess the long term average is 4.8%, which is interesting that it's only 4.8%. I would have thought it was a little bit higher, but for funds, it's at 6.1%, which means there's money on the sidelines that at some point needs to go somewhere. So investors and portfolio managers definitely eyeing this, wonder is this a bottom? Is this an opportunity? They have money to invest for sure.
And that's where I believe that as soon as they identify a bottom, we will see a very quick rally. Will it be a bear market rally or will it be the start of a bull market? We don't know. But I do believe that we can see something drastic like we had in July. And in July, markets were just rallying here for a few
Yeah.
weeks before then pulling back. All right, let's take a look at some trades. Let's see what is happening here with our trades. Not a whole lot, right? I mean, Google, you sold the 104, and yesterday when we were opening way higher, it almost looked like, ugh, should you have waited? But then, I mean, with the pullback, I'm pretty sure that you're happy with the 104, and you got assigned at 104, so this is a covered call against your existing position.
Yeah, and I know yesterday that it spiked higher after the open, and I talking with traders and also when we're working with our mastermind group. Yes, I know it can be a little frustrating if you collect 55 cents and then 5 minutes later it's trading at 75. But this is why we have a plan, and this is why we have our line in the sand when we're using the calculator to determine what that 30% minimum is. So you could say that last week, maybe I was a little too discretionary going against my plan because I was too aggressive trying to sell calls. But yesterday, selling calls and getting that 30%, I think it was about 40%. I can't remember. But either way, that was fine for me. That's what I wanted. That met my rules and my standards. And if it takes off, great. I could always roll at some point if I still want to own the stock.
Yeah, and you see this where as traders, I think we have to get used to the fact that you're either entering too early or you're entering too late. I
Yep.
mean, if you nail it every now and then, good for you. But most of the times you'll enter too early or too late. And this is why it's important that we have our calculator, that we have our parameters and know how much money do we want to make, how much do we want to see annualized. And based on these criteria, we make a decision and hey, $55 per contract is not bad at all.
Exactly.
All right, going down the list, NVIDIA, interesting days for NVIDIA. So today, actually positive, even though the Nasdaq is negative. So this gives some hope for NVIDIA. I thought that I had some lines in there because I did lower my cost basis to 160.91. Originally, I got assigned at 195. Then at 120, I bought some more stocks, flew a rescue mission here, and right now my cost basis at 160. My break even at 147. I'll put the lines back on there. I really thought I did have that. Well, what do you know? It'll pop up. Anyhow, nothing to do there right now. So I have to wait until we get closer to the 140 level. But hey, I take an update today for sure.
Sure.
Is AMD
So far that
following suit here?
not really. Not really. AMD quiet today.
Quiet
So
today.
Nvidia outdoing AMD at least for now.
Yeah. Then also TPR got assigned at 37. TPR also a little bit all over the place here. I need to double check where my break even is here on TPR. So on TPR, my break even is at 33.34. Okay, so we'll see how this goes, but I can consider, if we just zoom in a little bit again, I can consider selling some calls once we go back up to 33 so that I'm selling calls between my break even and my cost basis, and then probably rolling it up until I'm at my cost basis. So this would be my plan here for TPR.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. I actually had a call with a mastermind member and he was doing the same thing. So same assignment, but just a little more aggressive, selling those calls between 34, 35 when there's an opportunity to do so, bringing his break even down a little bit more. I know that you've waited and I think it was a good decision because you just never know.
Right.
But something to consider at this point.
Yeah, so as we go back up to 33, I think that I'll sell the 34s and then just manage it and would roll the calls up as far as possible, possibly to the 37 level if we go up there. Well, other than this, I didn't see anything super interesting on the scanner today. I see that a few more popped up. Uh, there was X, and we have been talking about X a few times. I mean, that's not bad, but we actually ran the comparison and we like new core better than X. And they're both the same industry, so
Yep.
very highly correlated. But that's not a bad one if you really want to force a trade today. But I would rather wait for a really significant down day and not a diddling along day. That's at least what we are waiting for.
Yeah, I didn't see anything that just stood out as picture perfect. I have an open position. I didn't see anything earlier during the week on Monday. Schwab seemed like that was decent because they missed on earnings, and that trade's working out great. I think you had an opportunity to get out 90% today. That was one on the radar. Yesterday, Suncor was on the radar. That's working out just fine if you took it. Although I preferred a slightly lower strike compared to what was given. We've
Right.
still had some good opportunities if you're being picky and waiting for trades.
And I think that's the key, right? About being picky. Don't force it, right? In order to make
Yeah.
money with trading, two conditions have to be met. Number one, you have to be ready, and we're ready every day. We're trading with our masterminds every day. But number two, the markets have to be ready. And this is where often it's really okay. You got to wait. You got to be patient for the great opportunities. Because when we see that the markets are really plummeting down, that is a great day to sell puts. And if the market's rallying, that's a great day to sell calls. And that's what we're waiting for. So markets like today, where we are just diddling along, you see, if you're going back to a 5 minute chart, not a whole lot going on. Even yesterday, I mean, this was great if you wanted to sell calls, but then for the rest of the day, not much going on here.
Yep.
Okay. Anyhow, if you would like to know how exactly we trade these, what we are doing here is called the wheel strategy. And I'll link to a video right here. I'll explain the wheel strategy in less than 15 minutes. It's actually 3 steps. And take a look at this. You're going to love it. So this way you have a better idea of what we are doing and you can follow us along as we are presenting our trades. Anyhow, see you again tomorrow.
Happy trading, everybody.